Okay, we are live again, and let's see if people are joining in the chat here. Um, it is Sunday morning, so a lot of people in my part of the world are probably sleeping, but we'll see how it goes. I am quite tired myself, actually. Okay, so people are joining. That's wonderful. I hope you like the thumbnail, which I nicked from Norwegian mainstream media. That's probably not okay for me to do that, but yeah, I did. So sue me. I also want to say thank you to anyone who made my main channel drop 1,000 subscribers overnight. That's always nice to see, you know. Um, I I don't think it was actually YouTube doing that this time. They usually send out a sort of a warning, but this time I think it maybe organic, maybe happened organic. I don't know. Maybe some people sent a message out to their little sheep that I should be unsubscribed to on my main channel because I've had I've had some problems with what you call them, um, evangelists. No, the people who talk about Jesus and all that all of the time, all the time, every time in the chat, which is annoying. So maybe because I'm blocking those people now, maybe they get upset, and so I don't know. But anyway, um, dropped the they dropped the main channel down 1,000 subscribers. And to be honest with you, that I don't like that so much because you work hard as a YouTube creator for every new subscriber. So if you're new to this channel, which is my live streaming channel, consider subscribing. Um, I think we have an awesome community here, and you are very welcome. Now let's get into the topic for today's discussion. But first of all, welcome to all of you. Let's see here, all the usual suspects, as I often say. Well, thanks a lot, Christopher. That's very kind of you to say. Will says good morning from Portugal. And I can highlight some of your comments here. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the topic. Dancing monkeys. I think it's a good term to use. So a dancing monkey is someone who will entertain for money, and that's what he or she is doing. That's their occupation, and they will do as they're told, basically. So one example would be one very obvious example. Modern times would be what's it called? K-pop. K-pop. I don't know much about K-pop, but I've read about it, and it's very much controlled. The artists, if we can call them that, are controlled by the companies, and they are told how to look, how to dance, how to sing, and all that. So they are not artists. they are dancing monkeys. And the dancing monkeys, they will, they will do as they're told. And up through history, the establishment, they have always had their dancing monkeys, their musicians, entertainers, and so on, who not only entertain, but they are also part of the propaganda machine. So they will promote the views and opinions and what's the word I'm looking for here? The agenda that the establishment wants to have promoted. So the dancing monkeys, they will basically be living ads for the establishment and the establishment's agenda. And I guess you can find it in all sorts of art, I guess. Actually, grape juice jokers are, they were known for actually to be the only ones who could speak up against the king, because they could tell jokes and so on and so on, and they would use sarcasm and so on. But anyway, up through history, the establishment, they've always had their dancing monkeys, and one obvious example would be the church. They would have their songwriters writing. I'll try to pronounce it correctly. Psalms, Psalms, promoting Christianity. Okay. And you might say there's nothing wrong with that. The church, they will have their songs and so on and so on. And that's fine. It's more of a problem when you have this in politics, which we see today. And on the image there, the thumbnail image, that's actually two guys with, I believe, minority background. And they've always been, I don't know their songs, and I think it's rap and easy listen pop music, and that sort of, it's not my, I usually say that you would have to pump up all the oil in the North Sea and sell it to the Arabs, and it wouldn't be enough money for me to go and listen to that sort of music. And I don't even call it music. But anyway, that's beside the point. But they, as far as I know, they've always been promoting leftist ideology, leftist slash establishment ideology. And I know for a fact that they have been getting so much funding from the government up through the years that it's ridiculous. Now, I won't say that they are entirely without talent, but there is nothing there that challenges anything. And art should challenge. This is not art, okay? It's propaganda. It's an extension of the government's agenda at this point. And hence they are dancing monkeys. And you see that a lot now. It is, of course, a problem when the art becomes a tool used by the establishment, because that's the opposite of what art should be. Art should challenge. And I think the another example, and one of the maybe most obvious examples of how art is used to promote the establishment's ideology and agenda is the architecture in the old Soviet Union and those countries. Now, I've been to the Ukraine and I've been to Russia, and you still have a lot of those buildings there and statues and stuff like that. Um, and actually, it's extremely fascinating to watch because you can tell that it was controlled entirely. The look of it and everything was controlled entirely. So it's a very cold sort of art form. No, not art form, but it's a cold expression. The expression is very cold. There is no humanity there. There is no soul there, and it is fascinating in a way. Coet says you are generalizing. No, I'm not. Let's see here. No, I don't think. Okay. No, Russell Brand. No, he's not a dancing monkey. He's not an extension of the government's agenda. That would be ridiculous to say. That's not what I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm talking about the people who, through their art form, promote a certain ideology that the establishment wants to have promoted. Okay. Gatekeepers, I think you're talking about, that's something different, not what I'm talking about here. Christopher says you're a lovely man, Bjorn. I don't know if that's a misspelling or if it's a hate comment. So I'll just leave it there. I think it's in your right if to say that I'm a lovely, like not so nice. But if you wanted to write that I'm lovely, which would be nice, then I like that better. So I'll just leave it there. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, if we get a lot of hate here from the more Christian conservative people, that would kind of would be interesting to see, because if they're on to me now, would be interesting. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I don't have time for that. So we'll just leave it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I get distracted because of the comments in the chat, and I can't see the context and so on. I don't think there is anything you can say. I don't think it's possible to make me even raise an eyebrow anymore when it comes to hate comments. I've seen it all several times, so I don't care anymore. Now, it's important to understand that no, I would encourage everyone to not consume the art, if we can call it that. We really can't, but we should stay away from and we shouldn't give money to or time to the dancing monkeys. Um, they will be they're pushed in our faces, right? But I think it's our job to push that away, because there are so many proper artists out there who are struggling. Painters, musicians, novelists, poets, and so on and so on. And they really need our attention. We need the people who question things. As I said, that's what art should do. And when art becomes an extension of the government propaganda arm, then that's when we should turn away from those so-called artists and and give our money to, if you're going to spend money on art, music, books, and so on, we should do that on the proper artists. Okay. That's very kind of you to say. Links, preparedness, and outdoors. Um, that's I just wanted to highlight that because it's um, it's nice to see, you know. Okay, so okay, I'm reading the comments here just quickly. Um, so good point here from Kurt. No monkeys in heavy metal. Um, I think maybe there could be exceptions. I don't know all the bands there, but it is, I think, one of the most, or maybe the most rebellious um, sorts of music, and you have the whole spectrum there. Okay, from more regular heavy metal, which is sometimes almost pop music, to extreme death metal, black metal, um, and I think it's impossible to find, for instance, black metal that is supporting the establishment. It's that I don't think that's possible. So, oh, here's an example. Um, yeah, remember to hit thumbs up. That would be awesome if you could do that. Yeah, here's an example. Baby metal is corporate. I guess so. I don't know much about that band, but um, you know, might be. It looks like they are. And here's a hippie guy who says, "This is so freaking boring." Yeah, well, it's not for you. I suggest you go to TikTok or something like that, or maybe you should sort out your life or something like that. Maybe. um, okay. I really don't care if people. It's nice. No, don't get me wrong. It's nice when people come here and we have our little chats. It's Denmark Beer. Good morning to you. Good to see you as always. Um, But if you don't like it, just leave. It's not complicated. Even you should get that, rose hippie guy. You can leave. That's okay. um, yeah, some people are joining now, so I'll just explain again. The dancing monkeys are musicians and well, artists in general being used to promote the establishment's agenda. And on the thumbnail is a rather famous Norwegian rap band, and they are a good example of that. And I'm sure you have a lot of um, people like that in your country as well. Thanks a lot, Links, Preparedness and Outdoors. I am planning to go to England this year, later this year, actually. That's the plan. Rose Hippie Guy is still here. Oh, did he act up here? I'm sorry. I find it a little bit amusing. No, we'll just ignore it. So, yeah. It's a simple message that I have today. But it is something I've been thinking about a lot. You see, before I had my big breakthrough as a novelist, I traveled quite a lot, and I did lectures and I read from my novels and so on, which is not uncommon to do here in Norway. You read in the schools and at libraries and so on. I've even been to 3 prisons and done readings from my novels there. Um, and and there's quite a lot of money in that if you if you do a lot of that. I don't do that anymore, but I don't have time for that. But all those millions of Norwegian kroner, they are also a lot of those. They are used to promote or to promote concerts and more expensive stuff. And I have noticed up through the years that there are certain elements that should be, if you have all those elements, then you will certainly be promoted and supported by the government with money. And I'll make a little joke now. Don't get me wrong, this is a joke, and it's not even my joke. I've heard other people saying this. If you don't get me wrong, but if you're a if you're a if you're a black Muslim lesbian Sami woman, then your chances of getting, and you write in this new Norwegian. That's don't want to get into that, but it's if you're that person, if there is such a person, you will get money from the government if you're an artist, because it's so yeah, you get my point. Okay, it's a bit of a joke. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with being any of those things, but it's if you have all those things, then you will certainly get money. So Well, Christopher, I think maybe you misspelled and I'm sorry. But thanks for that, for those kind words. Um, so, yeah, it's a bit, the chat is a little bit confusing now. I don't get the context, and because it's moving fast. Uh, okay. Yeah, I will encourage everyone not to use curse words in the chat. There are kids listening to this, believe it or not, and it would be nice if you could avoid uh, being nasty to other people here. Okay, so yeah, yeah. So, Atmas1337 says, in our day and age, you can just present yourself as such and you will be such. Maybe so. Maybe so. um, yeah. Rose hippie guy is back. Why are you still here? You said it was boring. Um, so I don't understand why you are here. But no, no. Here's a here's Carola has a suggestion here for a band. Flagras Hidden Black Metal. Black metal usually delves, is that the word, with or into Christian mythology, you know, um, which is fascinating, I must say, very fascinating. Uh, but bands like Dimmu Borgir as well has been getting into, you know, other mythologies, I believe, as well. I haven't heard about that band. So, looking at the chat here. Yeah, okay. This is a good question here. What's Mike Rock is asking, what is your opinion on music artists expressing their political views during live performances? I think they shouldn't do that. Um, and the reason is that while it is their right to do it, that's not what people paid for. So, I mean, it should be obvious, but what I think is going on there is that they think, and I think it's quite cynical most of the time, because they think that they know their audience better than they do in reality, and they think that they are creating increased support when they do that. So yeah, they shouldn't do that, you know. Uh, yeah, well, Dean says we're going to have Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak as one of the prime ministers in the UK. God help us. Welcome to the club, and you're not in it. They don't care. Yeah, it really is like someone said. Your political leaders are not elected anymore. They are selected. Yeah, that's true. Um, so I won't get into the whole Ukraine situation that seems to awaken the pro Putin trolls. So we won't do that. Not today. So, um, okay, just scrolling up here. It is interesting, Mr. Meadman. Keep the personal, the political, and the arts separate. The arts should be from the soul, and politics are not soulful. I agree and I disagree. Now, I think that if you try to put your art, if you're an artist and you try to restrain your expression, that's never a good idea. If if you try to restrain yourself too much, it hinders your creativity. And I think that in all arts and in all novels, in all paintings, even and music, it will seep through. Uh, the creator's opinions and feelings and everything is it. You can't sort of. It's there. Sometimes not much, but I feel that I can say that it's there to some degree. But that's and that's fine. It needs to be like that. But there's a huge difference between that and using your art to promote a political ideology. It's a big difference, of course. Wolf Odin, thanks a lot for the donation. That's very kind of you. If I'm listening to Norse pagan bands, none of those that you mentioned there actually, but I listened to some more, folk, nature, more organic kind of pagan music. I absolutely do. Yeah. Let's see here. um, yeah, Steve, let's keep it out to the. There's so much I could say about that. You know, I think it's wise to travel to Russia. Now it's a bit difficult, but until you have been there, it's a bit difficult to understand how bad it is under such a rule. But anyway, um, let's see. Yeah, yeah, that's. I know it's ironic. John Lennon, great man. Yeah. But I think even awful human beings, like truly like awful human beings, like evil people like John Lennon can produce art that is valuable to other people. Um, I think history is full of examples of that. But now I don't like any of John Lennon's music or any of the Beatles' music. I despise it actually. So, oh, you didn't know? Oh, oh, maybe people don't know. Oh, okay, John Lennon. I won't get into that, but just do a quick search on the internet. Um, it's very well known. Uh, I think it wasn't at the time; it was kept hidden. But uh, I'm sorry if you were a fan. I don't think you will be after you have researched it. No, I don't want to get into it because I'm in a good mood and I guess it evil. Well, depends on how you define that. To me, I don't think that people like that should be kept out of prison. But anyway, Deputy Dave says do some research. Yeah, but maybe there are differences. It is quite well known here in Norway. Maybe in some countries it's not well known. Um, but anyway, so yeah, well, Google is, I, yeah, you can use Google. Other search engines are better, but on this one, I don't think Google will hide any facts on this one. It's part of music history now. So um, now I'm not talking about the politics or his naive, stupid messages or anything like that. But no, no, I'm not. No, I wouldn't call. No, I'm not talking about that. Talking about behavior and yeah. Let's leave it. Okay. We Are the Remnant says in the USA quite a lot of stuff is not well known. LOL. Um, so I have discovered. um, yeah, I use several search engines. So I do use Google if I must admit I use Google if there's something I believe, if I'm trying to find the address of a restaurant or something like that. But if there's any politics or anything like that involved, I will not use, or anything that has to do with science, I will not use Google. Of course not. It's so biased. And no, but I use DuckDuckGo, but they are, I don't know. They've been disappointing as well. You can use several different search engines. That's probably the best. And look at the results they are giving you and go from there. Um, so, um, yeah, I've heard that DuckDuckGo has a bit of the same issue as Google, but I do get more unbiased results when I use DuckDuckGo. But I think the most important part here is that we understand that these search engines are often biased. So people use Google as a verb now. I think that's awful. Shouldn't do that. because it's most people think it's just Google it, and that's the same as doing an internet search, but it really isn't. I know there are a few other search engines. Brave is mentioned here, so yeah, Brave. There's another one. Cow, something with cow. Uh, yeah, but it's easy to find. Use several search engines, and you will probably find proper results, proper information after a little while. It takes a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, DuckDuckGo advertised themselves as honest search engine. They did, but I've been a little bit disappointed with them lately. And they did have this scandal with, as mentioned here, by Atmas 1337. But yeah, okay. You can find this out for yourself. My point there is that it's best to use several different search engines. What's the name of this guy? The internet safety or internet privacy, Rob Braxman? Is that his? No, what's his name? He has a lot of information about that on his YouTube channel. Rob, an Asian guy. He often makes videos in his boat, his sailing boat, I think. Yeah, Rob Braxman. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Rob Braxman is the guy to go to when it comes to these issues here. So yeah, DuckDuckGo, Bing, Brave, Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, we shouldn't forget actually using books either. I agree. Wikipedia is a corrupt mess. We had this big scandal in Norway a few years ago when because they were changing facts about some people here, and they were calling them all sorts of nasty stuff. And that was, I believe, the people working for Wikipedia doing that. And then at the same time, they were not allowing the the, the people themselves to correct those facts on Wikipedia. Now I have a Wikipedia page, but I've had problems with them with Wikipedia, and I met the most arrogant bastard ever. Not in person, but he was behaving like a little king because he could censor what I wrote about myself, and I only wanted to update my published novels list. And I wanted to change some facts. Some troll had gotten into my Wikipedia page, and he wrote some lies there. And after that, when you can't have, when you can't get, when you are the person Wikipedia is writing about, and they're not allowing you to change facts about yourself so that they are correct, you know that Wikipedia is. I think Wikipedia is the worst website out there. Um, and it has to do with the people working there, and they have the stomach to ask for donations as well. Little GB says, "Little men with little power, I've found, are the worst." Yeah, exactly. So when I do when I go out and do sometimes appearances on stage, and I'm interviewed by some journalists, and they will often say that in Wikipedia it says that, and then this and that. At best, it's the wrong angle. It's a stupid way to say what they're trying to say, and oftentimes it's plain wrong. But anyway, um, Arno Titan says Wikipedia's version of Finnish history is questionable. I will look into that, because I would not be surprised at all. Okay. Yeah. So I think we can all agree that Wikipedia is Wikipedia is actually part of the propaganda. It's being used as that. No. But anyway, I'm not saying you can't find information, or at least starting points for your research on Wikipedia. But Wikipedia itself is not, you can't trust it. So I'm going to end the live stream here. Started with talking about the dancing monkeys. I had a need to call those people out, and yeah, that's it for now. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later. Okay, bye.